Red sun comes rising out of the sea on the long, long road, and the bones of the ocean that land under me on the long, long road. Up the St. Lawrence to the Queen of the Lakes on the long, long road, and the waves of the water they endlessly break on the long, long road, on the long, long road, on the long, long road. The waves of the water they endlessly break on the long, long road. Prairie's a straight line beginning and end on the long, long road, and the mileposts marking the time that we spend on the long, long road. West of the mountains that drain us a stone on the long, long road, and the setting sun.
My name is Thelma Feltmate. I came here in 1984, so I've been here, lived here for 34 years. My husband's family is was born in Diola, and they had seven of a family. It's the last two that was Wade and Allison.
I understand that there was a long history serving in the armed forces in your family.
Borden served in the army. He and his 5 brothers enlisted at the same time. They went for. He was captured and taken to Hong Kong for 4 years for a war prisoner. One of his other brothers that came home on leave and had an accident on Big Hill, that he was killed there. One died on the way coming home. When he was captured, he died on the way home from the war prisoners, and the other two came back.
And does he ever talk about those experiences?
He never really wanted to talk about that because that was a hard time, and he did leave a diary of what they ate and things like that, and he did write a couple letters home when he was there, but he never really liked to talk about that. That was a bad time for him.
So you call yourself a blue nose from Nova Scotia. You've only been here, 37 years?
34, yeah.
34, but you're still an outsider.
That's a true blue noser. I'm gonna be that, yeah. No, and I never ever felt that I was an Entry Islander. No.
But what was it like coming your first time here on Entry Island, and you realized you were going to stick?
Well, the truth of it was I didn't stick. I think we moved. I moved back 2 or 3 times before I came and stayed. I moved back because I was working, so you just take a leave of absence, and you didn't say goodbye to your friends, and you had it in the back of your mind if this didn't work out, you was gonna, go back. So I did that a couple times, and then it started. I guess my girls. We have two girls there. It kind of got to the girls that, what are we doing here? So I said we have to do this one last time and make it work or not work. So here we are.
Did your girls grow up here on the island?
We moved here when they was on like 9 and 7. So they when they finished their grade when they finished their grade 8 and went into grade 9, then they went they went back to Nova Scotia, and
Who did they live with?
they lived with family.
Yeah.
They lived with the family there for a while, for a couple of years, and then the last year, my youngest wanted just to go out and wanted to forget about the family and just somebody that they didn't know, and it worked for her. She got along good, but yeah.
And what are they doing now?
Tracy's the oldest one. Actually, she just started a new job. She's managing like a floor at the hospital, like the emergency where they do surgery and stuff. So she's managing that with a doctor and a assistant there. So yeah, she's doing good. She's good, and the youngest one is in the military.
So she kept up that tradition.
She kept up that tradition, and yeah, it's from her grandfather.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
where's she stationed?
She's just stationed. She was stationed in Halifax for 17 years, and she just got stationed to Ottawa for that. She's a logistics officer, and she's seen most of the world there now because she did a lot of traveling and a couple tours. She did those, so she, yeah, she's moved. She's always on the move.
We're sitting in the Inter-Island Intermediate School, which closed in 2014. And you were at the center of the school for many years. I was hoping you could tell us about the school and its importance to the life of the community and its history, and eventually what happened when it closed down.
Okay. So well, I came first. That I just started a janitor for the janitor, and I worked for a year, and then I moved that they needed somebody for the secretary. So when I went on to the secretary, and then I did odd jobs through the school. One year I had a teacher's aide, and I taught a few of the classes, and it was all that. And it was at that time it was a nice little school, and from the small ones up to the bigger ones, and it was well, at that point there was probably close to 30 students here, and that was quite a few at that time. And we mostly had four teachers that was in that they did that, and it was lots of little stories that what the kids would come, and the little things that they would do was priceless. The stories that they would have, and we changed principals there a few times. But it always seems like there was always a close knit among the teachers, because they always did.
And then the enrollment gradually declined?
Yes, it did start to decline at that time, because at that time there was no students coming in. So at that time we had to do that. So it was, the students started to go, so it made it harder. And at the end, then the teacher took over. The teacher took over the secretary and that. So it was kind of sad to leave it go, and that was sad.
The school, your instruction was this is an Anglophone, an English-speaking community in a French-speaking environment, but the school was in English, right?
Yes, it was, yes.
Were the kids taught any French in class?
Yeah, some of them were there. It was surprising what the kids knew, and yeah, and most of the most of the teachers that we had here could speak French and understand it. Yeah, so it was good.
So one more question about the school. When the school finally closed down, was there mourning in the community? Was there an event? Did anyone, or did it just disappear?
Well, we tried to save it. We tried to save it there a couple times because the school, yeah, it did have a big impact on the community. We tried to save it a few times, but it was like that grandfather clause that they have in Quebec, that if your grandfather or whatever didn't come to schools here, nobody else could come in. Like just anybody off the streets couldn't come in and buy a home and their kids come here. They couldn't, with the 101 bill there. So it wasn't, no. So, but we tried to do it, but I mean, it's a school. If you got no kids, what can you do?
The living on the island, you're in constant contact with nature.
Yeah.
Tell us about how important the weather and the wind is, and is there wildlife here and the ocean? What it's like living here in this beautiful place?
Well, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to live here and peace and quiet and everything. But it's just the opposite. It's we're captured. We're captured. The wind decides what you can do every day, and like the traveling. The traveling is well, you check the weather. Everybody knows the weather. They check it probably 2 or 3 times at home. They check the weather, and because I'm not a boat person myself, so it's lots of times that I stay here 2 or 3 months before I go off the island, and then you're just kind of closed in, and you have to go. But I mean, it's hard to do anything like that. But at the same time, you can order in your groceries and go down to the wharf and pick them up. You can, they'll charge them, and if you got a good name, you have no problem with it.
How do you spend the winters to keep yourself busy?
Well, personally, myself, I like to read a lot. So most of the other ladies, I mean, they'll knit and do some kind of crafts, and sometimes we'll have games of something at the school here to keep us entertained. But sometimes it can be long winters, and then I'll take a run. I have 3 grandchildren there. Tracy, my oldest, has 3 grandchildren. So I usually take a couple months and go over that way. Breaks up the winter. But I mean, there's TV and internet, and we're lacking in nothing like that. So it's not there. But like for the nature, it's nice just to go for a walk and hear the birds chirping, and it's always nice to see the foxes out, and always look for the first robin in the spring, and now I just noticed when I was walking up there today that the strawberry plants are out. So that's the thing. Just have to keep an eye on those now to see where all the blossoms are at, and I'll do some strawberry picking. I always do. So it's
Are you gonna set up your bees this year?
my bees is they're doing okay. I just uncovered them for the winter. It's been a long winter for them, but they had a lot of food there last year that they made for themselves. So I just did some sugar and water up there and give them a couple bottles of that the last 2 weeks, and they will, I'm just glad that there's some dandelions that's coming out there that they can do that, and after I'll go down and check them out to see how they're doing.
Do you sell the honey?
No, we did a batch there before, and we just gave it through the community. But I guess now this year, if we did get any honey, that we would take it. We would take it and sell it up at the museum.
Yeah, we noticed at the museum there's pickles and relishes, and these are all local things that people make to sell at the museum.
Yeah.
And the idea of the museum is to raise money to develop this community center, is this correct?
Right.
To develop the school into a community center.
Yeah, we do that, and like the church will put some things in for sale, and we try to still keep our church open. So the church is important to myself. Mm-hmm. I like to think that I'm a spiritual person, so I try to do that and try to be a good person and do your best that you can.
Were you a lay reader as well?
No, I never. Just didn't get into that. I minister's warden, and I always try to look after the church and the cabin and that.
So the community had a really sense of identity and a sense of community as being a minority community, being isolated and being interdependent. Mm-hmm. For helping each other all the time. Other people have told us that the neighbors are always there. Mm-hmm. When you need help or when you get bored. And is that changing now? Is the island changing that way? It
is. We, like, I guess everybody else, most people's independent now. They got everything they need. They got so much that they don't bother too much like that. But I mean, like, if we had a funeral, man, the island would come together just like anything that you wouldn't believe. We got everything gets just dropped. There's nothing else that matters. They'll, do whatever they can for that. But just on a daily basis, it's getting a little harder for the community to come together, because we can't seem like we can do that now. But there's less of us, and there's the older generation, my generation, that we're not, we haven't had the younger people that needs to be there to dig in, to take control, take charge of things. So, yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us that I haven't asked about?
No, I guess that's pretty well all. But it's like overall, it's a nice place to live here, and there's a lot of people that was selling out and did sell out, but some of the other ones from the other side is coming in and taking their place. I didn't think too much of that at first. But as long as we have somebody that is here and to take you up the homes and look after the homes, that's fine. And I guess change, that's what it's all about. So it could benefit us instead of anything else that we're doing this. And I'm a positive person. I like to always think that there's hope for us. So it is, it's a good place.
Late summer day and my love and I went walking. Over hills and fields we walked, laughing and talking. Came across an old farmhouse standing broken and bare. It used to be someone's home, now no one lives there. And there's a red barn standing held together with nails and dust, and a tired old Massey Harris, all wires and rust, and weeds overgrown in a garden sown with care. It used to be someone's home, now no one lives there. And through the crack in the window pane, I hear the sound of the falling rain. Another farm being left run down, another family moved into town. Had a life that they tried to save, but the banks took it all away. Hung a sign on a torn screen door, nobody lives here no more. They worked their fingers to the bone, nothing left they can call their own. Packed it in under leaden skies, with just the wheat waving them goodbye. Had a life that they tried to save, but the banks took it all away. Hung a sign on a torn screen door, nobody lives here no more. Had a life that they tried to save, but the banks took it all away. Hung a sign on a torn screen door, nobody lives here no more.